What is going on YouTube? Hayden back making another brand new crypto TV episode, and in today's video we need to look at XRP, we need to look at Ethereum, we need to look at Solana, Bitcoin, and the S&P 500, which just keeps going higher and higher and higher and higher, and it's absolutely crazy because at some point we are going to have to reach that top and we are going to have to start correcting, especially now because we're now in overbought territory. Like, we can't keep going higher up on the S&P, which inevitably means we're going to start to see a correction. Just like last time when we became overbought right here, we had a little dip. We're going to probably see another dip as we then continue this trend higher up at some point, waiting for that inevitable correction. But, you know, we'll talk about that later on in today's video. More importantly, what we need to look at is continuation patterns within most of the major indicators, technical indicators on these major cryptocurrencies that we've been tracking. We're going to have some new buying opportunities very soon. As you know, we've been tracking like hourly and 4-hour movements, which is very aggressive, and that could cause immediate downtrends, corrections, and people can lose a lot of money. It's a lot more risky, you know, trading on an hourly and a 4-hour chart compared to trading on daily, weekly, so on and so forth. Here, it does take a longer time period, though, for it to settle out. But I do have some important things to go over with these cryptos, and I'm excited to do that with you. But before I dive into the technical analysis, remember, BYDFI is doing a June trading competition where you guys can earn up to 1,000. It's not even a competition. It's just a challenge to see if you can do it. You're not competing against anybody here, but it's as simple as making a deposit into the exchange and just trading crypto as you normally would here, and you can earn up to $1,000 in free cryptocurrency by partaking in the June trading the June trading challenge. Excuse me. So definitely make sure to check out BYDFI. They are the #1 cryptocurrency exchange down in the description below. But with that being said, smash that like button, turn on post notifications, subscribe, and let's jump right into today's episode. So guys, I don't even know where to start. There's so many things of importance to talk about. I guess we'll start off with Solana. I know a lot of you guys are into XRP, but let's look at Solana. No, we'll start with XRP. I know there's a lot of fanboys out there. But as you guys know, we have a continued downtrend here, which is a bit unfortunate, as a continuation pattern. Symmetrical triangles typically revolve around continuation patterns here. And because we broke down into this, we fell. You can see big red candles into this, then created the higher low, lower high, filled in this gap here, saw the confirmation closure, buy an opportunity to short was right here. Now that we filled this in, I think it's at this point where we could just delete these symmetrical triangles. It's not needed at this point in the market here. And if I start to scale out, jumping to the weekly here, and maybe at some point we can add it back in, but you'll notice jumping to the weekly, what is actually forming here is a much larger kind of descending triangle. Now, we've had a few of these. It actually, the long term of XRP, we actually have these happen quite often. You can see scaling back to the original range back in 2018 of April here, XRP had a major downtrend. Once we confirmed out of that, we started to rally up. Then we had a new one form in 2021 into 2022, major downtrend. And once we broke out of that, we also saw a correction to the upside, marking these downtrends here. You can see where we typically reversed on the weekly. It was very specific, which is really cool. And once we broke out of that, we saw some pretty solid runs to the upside, if you know what I mean. Now, as you guys know, I said the end of December, or the end of this year into 2025 is typically when we should be expecting to see some major movements in cryptocurrency, specifically XRP2 here. And you can see this kind of downtrend ends right around the end of 2024. That means starting 2025, we could see a beautiful market, and it might be 2025 that's really when we start to experience that movement. You got to keep in mind, since then, all of 2023 has been nice accumulation into a reversal period. So we're definitely looking really good in this stance here. And we did have a small outburst in 2023, and now we're consolidating yet again. So it's no surprise that we're seeing this. But you can clearly see in this time period here, this uptrend, this kind of descending fractal or descending triangle, whatever you want to call it here. We had this like flagpole up. Here we are in this descending triangle where each time we rally up, we're hitting this resistance and correcting here. We're due for another spike very soon, but you can also see we've discovered a price floor where prices have not been able to close below on the weekly charts. And this is very good news, because if this continues the way I think it will, then we should be experiencing a nice reversal, potentially up to 57 cents in the next couple of weeks here. It could easily move up 15, 16% very quickly. So we're looking for a new reversal back up to here because we're at a low point in the market. I'd be very surprised, extremely surprised actually, if we start to break through that and descend lower. I just don't think we have it in it. Obviously, anything is possible at this point here, but I don't think this is what we're dealing with here. It's very solid that we have this uptrend. I mean, again, anything is possible looking at this, but we typically stay inside that support zone here. So I'm moving this back up to where we originally had it. Let me just do that super quick. And that's where I would expect to see support being held and resistance being retested here, right here, and then filling this gap in. Now, that's long term, so we look good still long term. Short term, moving in here, you can see we did just what appears to be some sort of double bottom, so I would also expect in the short term that we start to reverse rally back to the upside here. Pretty exciting, but that's where I would truly expect to see markets start to accumulate and move to. And then moving on from XRP, looking at these other cryptos, everything else looks primed and ready for reversals in the markets as well, and that's just overall awesome. You could see, XRP had those kind of major descending triangles forming. Well, for Solana, it's more so symmetrical or descending bull flags here. We have bull flags. It's a descending fractal. We have a flag pull up, lower high, lower low, and this is a continued pattern that you can see throughout pretty much Solana here. It's consistent with the market, and it always comes down to retest the moving average, and then we inevitably break higher, and that's what we're probably going to experience now. So you can see the last one here that we bought into, we made huge profits on the uptick. We're looking for that same thing to happen here. We've fallen down. We're retesting moving average. You can see the last time we did this right here, we were below moving average, and then we immediately started the ascent. So that same thing is kind of in the works right now, where we could see we did dip below it, and here we are coming back up. We're already starting the ascent, and I'm a strong believer we're going to come back to retest price ceiling and then head even higher up, where we're ultimately going to be retesting $200. This is a low on the market here, and at some point we are going to flip and start to ascend higher. So we can leave it on the 4 hour for the time being to see how we start to pan out during the day, but you can see we're near 50 on the RSI here, so we look good in continued movement here with this uptrend. I would likely suspect that we bounce off and start to ascend higher in the very near future. Now, all these trades, like I said, will be made on BYDFI, the #1 cryptocurrency leveraging exchange. This is where you can, make tons of profit, or at least practice your skills on BYDFI. So it's very cool here because they offer so much incentive of free crypto. So if you click welcome rewards after you get your incentive here, or before, it doesn't matter, you can then earn over $2,000 in free bonus money by literally completing and clicking on these tasks right here. You can get a ton of free cryptocurrency that you can then exchange, and they even have a demo trading account right here, which is another way you can practice trading your skills, learn how to trade on the BYDFI exchange, and then when you're ready, you can switch it over to the live account. It's another very popular feature. So make sure to check out BYDFI down in the description below ASAP. And then moving forward from Solana and XRP here, you could see Ethereum looks good as well. We haven't reversed out of anything. Like, since we've broken bullish outside of a major, you could see bull flag here, there's a good chance another one is even forming. I can start to delete a lot of these here, and we can maybe start to uncover what could be a new fractal forming downwards here. It is very possible that we could start seeing something along the lines of this. It's way too early at this point to tell, but it's very possible that we could start to see some sort of descending fractal, because that's also a similar pattern that happens consistently here, very similar to Solana here. There's some uptrend that we've been following fairly nicely here, and I'll extend this out a bit more, and we obviously have a lot of room to head lower. It's definitely a big possibility here, but you can see these kind of bull flags break us out consistently. And here's the second one that just happened. This was huge. This was the easiest pop. But we're now looking for another one. And we slowly start this descent downwards. It could reach all the way down to 3,200, which would be unfortunate. And that's also why we're not trading right now. But when we do decide to rally up, we could maybe get in on breaches above resistance here. But it's gonna take some time, because we need to still consolidate. There's still clear resistances that need to be retested. At this point, it's gonna look something like this until we get another reversal up, and I think that's what's due. We have this downtrend here, only 2 points of confirmation. We could head even lower, but we are probably forming a new descending fractal that could scale us all the way down to here before we see any sort of implied movement. But, we can intraday trade, like I've said with Solana too. Like, I suspect that we're going to see a movement up to price ceiling here, followed by continued correction. So we're in a bearish momentum. We have bearish momentum, but there's still upticks and swings to the upside here. Then jumping to Bitcoin, it's kind of a similar stance here. I mean, we broke out of a bull flag quite nicely, but there's no new technical indicator for the time being. So I'm going to delete some of this stuff here. Maybe if we jump to like the 4 hour, there's some sort of falling fractal here. You can see kind of like a top I don't know, but this is, I'm kind of grasping at straws here. Some sort of fractal falling lower here. It's not anything I would reference here, but I'll leave it for the time being. Although I do think we're going to continue to head lower on this. It's quite interesting though, across the board here. You can kind of see how this sort of makes a little more sense on the daily chart, how we're kind of scaling lower like this. And we'll see how low this does decide to take us. Because it could be, maybe we breach through here and we could start our reversal to the upside. But although we're pretty much in a consolidative point here, we broke out bullish from here, we rejected off ceiling, and that's pretty much the main takeaway for Bitcoin is this price ceiling got broken, and now we're starting a descent. We had a beautiful double top, and that's causing correction. So I would also put target closer to moving average here on Bitcoin. So all in all, today is not a day of trade, but there's a lot of new technical indicators forming here that we could be paying attention to. As for S&P, yet again, overbought. I'd likely suspect that we're going to correct lower, although we were overbought for quite a period here, and we just kept pumping higher. So that's also quite interesting. Inevitably, though, I do think we need to come a couple of candles lower before we see any more upswing to the upside here. But with that being said, smash that like button, turn on post notifications, subscribe, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.